why I come. All right. I'm Beth DeLapp. Hello, my fellow learning Toastmasters. Appreciate you being here learning with me. I'm reading from my book called Name the Baby and Feed the Dog. It says it's by Athy Wolf. That's a pen name. And one of the jokes here is that she's writing autobiographically about herself. It says, brilliant, a work of high modernist playfulness and deep pathos. So, there you go. This is a fictional autobiography. The main character is Athena, or Athy Wolf. And in this segment, she has just been woken up from a nap. I meant to mark my page, and I didn't mark my page. She's just woken up from a nap by this roommate that she really didn't want to let in, but she has a tendency sometimes to say yes to people, and people show up in her life and make things difficult. This is a holdup, he says, seconds after Jake has let him into our house. Jake returned early from his afternoon job hunt and called me into the front room, waking me up from my nap, but that's okay, I got a few winks. This is a holdup, the man repeats, which is helpful, because I just woke up and I'm not sure I heard him right the first time. He's a small man wearing a black shirt and corduroy pants that fit him perfectly. That's unusual in our circles. Nice to meet you too, I reply. Then I laugh. He smiles back at me. I look to Jake for some explanation. Who's your friend? I ask Jake. Jake doesn't answer. He just looks helpless. This is how I figure out that Jake does not know the man's name. The man sits down square in the middle of my sofa, his arms spread out like wings atop the cushions. That's how he makes himself big. Well, that and the implied gun. You can call me Steve, he says. He rests his head back to make himself look comfortable, like he owns the entire piece of furniture, like he owns the whole house. He's got the restless foot thing going, which is something I know about from the AA crowd. I told him I didn't have any money, Jake says, shrugging, his loud voice infused with distant notes of vodka. His eyes look scared. I told him the best I could do is write him a check. You told him what? I'm not following this. Jake is mumbling so I can barely hear. Write him a check. For what? The holdup? I laugh again, but Steve leans sideways, reaches into the front pocket of his pants, and fishes for his gun. Sit down, he commands. Oh. That's all I can say. I slip down into my old familiar writing chair, while Jake finds a spot on the floor. Not so close to each other, Steve says, and Jake scooches a few inches over. Then we all enjoy an awkward silence as Steve struggles with his pocket. Those pants might be a bit tight on him. Okay, it's a knife. I guess that's better than a gun. Gesturing at Jake with the knife, which appears to be a steak knife, Steve says, he owes me some money. I gave him a ride home so he wouldn't drive drunk. I did a good deed. Now I need money for gas to get myself back. Heaven forbid he stay here with us for lack of gas money. That's right, Jake agrees. He's what you call a good Samaritan. I bought him some lunch too, Steve says, looking to me for approval. I wanted to sober him up. Jake nods agreement. But there's no money in my account, Jake says, so, from the look on his face, you'd think he was dangling from a cliff. I didn't want to cheat him, Jake adds. He's a good Just give me your debit card, Steve says, and I'll be out of your life. He nods his head and also nods his knife up and down at the same time as a way of inviting me to do as he suggests. Okay, I reply, sure. I want to stay positive. I'm really, really glad it's just us at home right now. An image pops into my head. George, my roommate, the successful writer. He's getting knifed while he writes. He never knew what was coming. He looks up from his laptop just in time to see the knife. Next thing, blood spurting across the bathroom, all across his keyboard, short-circuiting his laptop, killing his novel, which he forgot to save. Shake that out. Think of things to be grateful for. Stay calm, Matthew. It's a knife, not a gun. It's a cheap, dinky little knife. The man looks like he wants to get out of here as fast as he can. That's all good. We can keep this short and sweet. My backpack is lying right here where I left it, next to my writing chair. All I have to do is carefully reach down, no sudden moves, find my debit card, give him the code, then he'll be on his way. I'm not from around here, he says, accepting the card. No use trying to find me. Promise not to call the police and I won't tie you up. Promise him, Jake says. I promise. Steve tips his head slightly, brings his hand to his forehead as if in salute, slides the knife back into his pocket, and he's gone, just as he said. I'm not about to get up. I'm not about to watch where he goes. I'm frozen, basically. Is this PTSD? It feels like a really bad case of writer's block. Jake's staring at me like he can't believe what just happened, as if he just walked in and had nothing to do with it. Then he passes out, literally. Silently, he slides sideways, hitting the floor with a sudden thud. He's lying across my floor like a big fat vodka stinking bear rug. I'm up from my chair without even knowing it, flying across the room, locking the deadbolt, checking it again. Where's my phone? I ask Jake, as if he were listening. Where's my phone? I ask the empty air. I need to call the police and I need to call George. I am up and doing. It's deja vu all over again, the same officers that responded when we found Sophie in the neighbor's backyard. The tall one recognizes Jake from somewhere, tells him to get back into AA. They promised to do what they can, but after all, we did let the man into our house, did we not? You didn't have to let him in, the tall one says, looking directly at me. Don't you people learn? He was a stranger and you just let him in. As the police pull out of my driveway, Jake says, I told you it wouldn't help. Jake, what if he's still around? I need a drink, Jake replies. I can't believe my sentence trails off because actually I can believe that he wants a drink. Pour you one, he offers. George won't care if we get into his stuff, not after we tell him what happened. No thanks, I reply. Pour me one then?